stops, get it in the half court, and execute. But as you said, Cal Poly wants to get it down the court, play with pace in the half court, get 2 feet in the paint, and spray it out to shooters. A lot on UCLA's defense tonight to stay attached to shooters, but also keep Cal Poly out of the paint.
One of those sharp shooters, perhaps the sharpest, picks up right where he left off. Sky Clark.
He's going to threaten the single season percentage, 3-point percentage all time here at UCLA if he stays on this pace. One thing to watch too, JB, is UCLA on offense. Cal Poly switches everything, 1 through 5. See how UCLA attacks that. Do they try and go inside when they get mismatches? Cal Poly will double the post on those mismatches.
Peter Bondel, Cal Poly's leading returning scorer from last season, finds Caden Ward, who threads his first.
Well, it's simple that time. And Bandel didn't even really get all the way into the paint, just a simple drive and kick. And we're going to see a lot of that tonight. UCLA's got to be ready to guard because Cal Poly strikes me as one of those teams, JB, where if they make a few early, it's going to be a 40-minute game the more they get confident.
Can they handle Bilodeau as they double from the baseline and get a turnover?
Everybody doubles from different places. Some people double from the nail, from the top, from the passer. Cal Poly, as you said it, doubles from behind on the baseline.
Ali Osron off the mark and a rebound from Xavier Booker. Nick said he tweaked his ankle in practice going into the ASU game by way of explanation for his limited minutes and impact the other night.
Booker's one of those guys, too, depending upon who they're playing, if he's needed, his size and length and rebounding.
Bilodeau knocks it down.
It's the season has gone on, and it's not, but they're both seniors. But Clark and Bilodeau, I mean, there is no hesitation. They are shooting it with supreme confidence here 11 games into the year.
14 made against the Sun Devils. Tied for the most the Bruins have made from behind the arc in the Cronin era. And a foul on the floor. Jeffrey Anderson leads our crew. Jason Phillips, Nate Harris with us as well. Tuesday was Mick Cronin's 146th win at UCLA, moving past Steve Lavin for 5th most in school history.
Well, what's interesting, JB, and you and I have known Mick for a while, going back to the Pac-12, and talking to him before the season, I've never heard that, hey, we're going to be a great three-point shooting team. I think that's just kind of organically manifested itself. But again, I mentioned it in our open, Donovan Dent is so good at reading the defense and making the appropriate play. The guys just get easier looks, especially from behind the line.
Who's your guess for the first 2-point shot of the night, Don? There's still time to get
Nobody.
Ward, nice find. There it is, a layup for Peter Bondel.
There's that. They get stops. They're going to push the pace. Coach DeGeorge was telling us about the analytics behind early clock versus late clock, so they want to get it down the court and make something happen quickly early in the clock versus the last 10 seconds of the clock where percentages go way down.
They're 5-7, already have a league win in their pocket, also have a win over Utah. Clark with 8 to shoot, rocks the dribble, rising, 4-3. Bilodeau tracks down an extra possession.
Every time Clark shoots it now, you just assume it's going in.
How much credit do you give Dent for looks like these and the three-point percentage?
A lot. And look, he is a true point guard. And I don't want to say, in New Mexico, he wasn't really a pass-first guy. Doesn't make him selfish, but he needed to score for New Mexico to win. He has become more of a pass-first guy here because he's playing with better players. And I think they've gotten used to playing with him. But it goes back to getting easier looks. And Dent is so good at getting past the initial defender and then kicking it out on time. A lot of point guards, JB, you know this, try and get their own first, so then the pass is late. Donovan Dent is setting the play up to make the pass, not to get his own shot first.
So we live in an era where the below-the-break three is the most valuable shot in basketball, right? How about the fact that Clark is shooting 52% overall, 56% from above the break? As quickly into the game, Brandon Williams misses.
Another example right there. His penetration led to a wide-open three, just didn't get it to go down.
Corner triple, Kieran Elliott, a Lubbock, Texas native and a junior.
Well, these UCLA players better understand that this is what they do, and you better get back, you better get attached, because they're going to make them if you let them get down the court and get set early for those open threes.
Dent gets it back from Bilodeau. Across to Clark, using his shot fake. The first 2-point field goal attempt of the night for UCLA. It's Sky Clark.
Well, when you're shooting over 50% from three, you're going to get closed out on. So now how do you attack closeouts? And that time, Clark, instead of rushing the three, pulled it down, got to the pull-up game.
Here's Ahmad Musa, the top scorer in the Big West. And now Austin Good with 12 to shoot. Dent staying in front of Bondel. Short clock situation. UCLA defending without fouling. A contested three from Musa. And an offensive rebound, Elliott. Walking into a three. Bondel, they are not shy.
Off window. I'm telling you, they're going to get confident. The more these threes continue to go in, the more they think they can win in here. And UCLA and their players got to understand that.
Skip to the corner. Extra pass to the hot hand Clark. Good action, no triple for UCLA.
And now transition defense. Off the miss, can you get back and get out to shooters? Because that's the thing. Once you start making threes, if you're Cal Poly, now defenders start closing out and staying more attached. That opens up the driving lanes.
Boy, it is an ultra green light for all 5 Mustangs on the floor. Clark and Bilodeau have all 11 for UCLA as Dent drives a crease, brings the whistle, and sends us to our first stop.
Well, if you like three-pointers, you're in the right place tonight. We got a lot. It's been Cal Poly has kind of dictated how this game's been played. So out of the first time out, what changes for UCLA defensively? And then offensively, UCLA has a real advantage inside. I bet you they start going into Bilodeau a little bit more here. We'll see.
Clark gets us restarted. And Dent at the wing. Midway point of the shot clock, UCLA in the half court. I like the minutes that Brandon Williams has given Mick Cronin lately.
The jack of all trades kind of guy. Does a lot of things well defensively. And sure enough, first possession, they go right into Bilodeau. But Cal Poly's defense converges on him, and he traveled. I still think you play through Bilodeau tonight. If they're going to make him a passer, that's fine. But you got to force them to guard him.
Guzman Vasilic off the bench, the international flavor. He's from Uruguay. 9 different countries represented on this roster. Second most in the country. UT Martin, as Don knows, has 13.
Well, we know that players and teams get jacked up to come in here and play in Poly Pavilion. Now, it doesn't always work out, but if you can get off to a good start which Cal Poly has, you can make it a game. And so far, Cal Poly has gotten off to a real good start.
And Dent is fouled. The Mustangs the only D1 program this year with a roster that covers all 6 habitable continents and regions. Why do you think they didn't recruit anyone from the 7th?
From Antarctica? I don't think there's a lot of good AAU programs in Antarctica. So,
are you kidding? The Antarctica Penguins are lethal from the three-point line. And Dent finally saw a 3 go down the other night. It was the first time since his UCLA debut, and that felt somewhat consequential.
Yeah, this is big, though, JB, because you know if he doesn't continue – look, if he doesn't make them, that's one thing, but he has to shoot them because when we get into Big Ten play, if he's not willing to at least attempt them, whoever's guarding him is going to be standing at the free throw line, daring him to shoot it, and that really bogs down your offense. It clogs the paint. So he's got to find a way – because he shot it pretty well at New Mexico last year. He's just gotten off to a bad start and now is reluctant to shoot him.
Bondel has no reluctance.
No. I haven't seen any reluctance at all from Cal Poly from anyone up to this point.
Peter had a program record 9 made threes at Fullerton earlier this month. Our Brown's in for Mick Cronin. This is Clark from the wing.
No switch that time from Cal Poly.
Oh, that was nasty. Back between his legs to the three-point line.
Well, this is the thing about Clark, which it surprised me a little bit, is last year was a lot more catch and shoot from him. I don't have the numbers to back this up, but it seems like there's a lot of balance now with his threes off the dribble as well as the catch and shoot. We know off the dribble is a lot more difficult than it is on a straight catch and shoot, but that's a tough shot. But that shot right there shows you how confident he is from behind the line.
He's not shot 40% from three in any of his prior 3 seasons, so that number is going to regress. He's going to shoot 52% through conference play.
I don't know, man. I mean, the competition will get better when you get into Big Ten play, and I'm sure the scouting report will not allow him to get as many attempts. But once you get confident, JB, like this, you can carry it for a long time, no matter what the defense is.
They need to get him more attempts just to qualify so that we can call him one of the nation's leading three-point shooters.
Well, how is the qualifier how many you make? It's always been how many you attempt. I don't understand that.
I'm Team Don on that one. Here's Trent Perry turning the corner. Missed it on the second side. An empty trip for UCLA and in transition.
New blood on Bondel now. Trent Perry in the game.
Able to cool him off and get the steal. On the arrow, actually, Cal Poly will keep it. But Trent Perry does his job off the bench on the defensive end against the Cal Poly Mustangs.
And 6 made threes on Wednesday night, 3 of 6 so far in this one. And we've been celebrating Donovan Denton's playmaking ability, and rightly so. But tonight, Sky Clark manufacturing a lot of these threes on his own off the bounce, and had 2 games already with 6 made threes. Doesn't happen a lot here at UCLA, but the way his confidence is and the opportunities he's getting, I would say there's going to be more 6+3 games in his future.
Poly downhill out of the stoppage. Musa traveled. So his previous game, Tuesday, 10 3-point attempts. That was a season high. Currently, he's already taken 6 through 2 segments.
Hey, look, if I got a guy shooting it at 52%, I'm trying to get him at least 10 FGAs a game.
That's what Cronin wanted.
Yeah.
Kind of gave him permission at the post-game podium the other night to get more shots in the column. Perry bumps on the way through the foul line. And second-year head coach for Cal Poly, Mike DeGeorge. Last year, they got to 16 and 19. Doesn't sound like much, but Don, that was the most wins for this program in a season since 2013.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they haven't had a lot of success, but it feels like DeGeorge is really turning this program around with his culture, with how he coaches, how they play. It's different. Not everybody says they want to run and shoot threes, but not everyone's committed to it, and they are, and it's different. So you have to game plan for how they play. UCLA has game plan for it, and Cal Poly's still gotten off to a great start. That's how unique playing this way is. And so I'm sure that the more his team gets older, he's got a young team this year. They're turning it over a little bit too much, almost 17 turnovers a game. The more you get used to playing like this, the turnovers start to go down. The confidence starts to go up in making more threes.
Second free throw coming for the sophomore from West Covina. What'd you make of the UCLA comment the other night that they might have to play more 3-guard lineups with Sky, Donovan, and Trent Perry there?
Well, I think roster flexibility is important based on who you're playing. Just like we've talked a lot about this year, Booker has been the starting 5, but I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of Tyler Bilodeau at the 5 like he was last year, depending upon who they're playing and what size they need and how guys are playing. But Trent Perry's made a jump this year from freshman year to sophomore year, playing much better. I keep using that word confidence, but that's such a big part of this game. And Perry has gotten more confident this year. His production's better. So, yeah, Mick Cronin, again, based on who they're playing, I could see it where those 3 guards are in the game a lot together.
UCLA group had a great defensive first half, holding the Sun Devils to only 33% here in a wire-to-wire win last time out. Not a ton of time to turn it around and prepare for a similar but different challenge in Cal Poly here tonight.
It's just difficult. You're coming off of Gonzaga. Then you have Arizona State, who, high major, Big 12 team. But then you got Cal Poly, you got Riverside on Tuesday with Christmas this week. So tough to deal with human nature and keeping your team focused during the stretch. But if anyone can do it, Mick Cronin sure can.
Clark comes to get it with 10. One-on-one against Musa. drive and spray it out. Extra pass, Brown. Has to be now for UCLA. On the step through, got to the left hand.
I thought Perry should have let the one in the corner slide. He had enough time to let that one go. And
offensive foul. We're going the other way. UCLA with the lead in the ball.
Jamar Brown just made something out of nothing at the end of the clock. Goes offhand runner. Gets it to go in. And now you feel like UCLA's defense is starting to tighten up a little bit here. Scott Clark's so good at moving his feet. One thing I've said a few times this year, and the UCLA coaches pointed it out to me, he never gets screened, ever, Sky Clark. So imagine playing offense and trying to set ball screens, and the guy you're setting the ball screen on never gets hit.
Do you think the officials know that? It's like, wait, Clark just got decked.
Yeah.
That must be a foul.
That was only because it was from behind, like the guy had his back to him. But yeah, that is such an underrated, valuable tool for Mick Cronin and UCLA's defense, that one of your lead guards never gets screened. And think about that. Everybody runs actions at the top, handoffs that are kind of like screens, you know, straight ball screens, and the guy never gets hit.
The only dismay defensively the other night was they gave up 51 points in the paint and at the free throw line combined. But again, a much different offensive challenge from the Mustangs tonight. They turn them over again.
Well, that's an outlier, because Mick Cronin's teams, the thing that I've always marveled at is they've always been so good defensively without fouling. So when you see UCLA with 24 fouls in a game, A, that's how the game was officiated. But B, they need to understand that just because they're much better offensively this year, you still need to hold to your principles of guarding without fouling.
They turn the visitors over on 4 straight trips. Let's see if Bilodeau and the Bruins can find some separation here midway point of the first half. Dent dips in, soft off the window. Donovan Dent.
So good at that. His change of speed and direction, his ability, I said it earlier, to get past the initial defender, then make decisions, is off the charts for a college player. It really is.
Now, since the loss to Cal, in which Dent scored just 3 points in 31 minutes, he's averaging 16 per night. So he's taken it to another level as they foul a corner shooter at the other end.
Well, already 3 or 4 times tonight, he's gotten to this point right there and then kicked it out. So I think Cal Poly's defense, they've talked about, hey, when he gets deep into the paint, he's spraying it out. That time, kept it himself and put it up off the window.
Statistically, plays like a guard much bigger than his 6'2" roster listing. This is Caden Ward at the line. He's a sophomore from Stockton, California. And he earned Big West Player of the Week following that win at Utah in November that we mentioned. He poured in a career-best 28.
And getting back to Dent, there's not a lot of college point guards at this level that don't ever get sped up. Like, he plays at his own pace. I remember going to practice before the season started, and that was the thing that jumped off the page initially, was in a practice where it's high intensity, high effort defense, he played at his own pace the entire 2 hours I was there. And you know, now you see it in real games, just how he is in control no matter what the defense is doing.
Comes into tonight, 3rd in the conference in assists per game. Perry to Brown. 3 on the way is short. Weak side rebound belongs to Bilodeau. He goes early and scores.
Bilodeau is such a tough guard because of his ability to go inside and out. And they're trying to jam it into him on that mid post, but Cal Poly doing a nice job of keeping them from getting it to him. Manufactured that one on the offensive board himself.
Extra pass to the corner, and Kieran Elliott slaloming inside brings the whistle. Tomorrow, see women's hoops on Big Ten Plus when Lauren Betts leads the 4th-ranked Bruins against Long Beach State. Download the Big Ten Plus app today. It's always game on. More on Betts and the Bruins in a little bit later on in our show tonight. They had a head-to-head against this program earlier, and they'll wipe that bucket away. Basket interference.
You don't see many scores like the UCLA women's Cal Poly game earlier in the week. UCLA is that good.
Especially now that they have both Betts sisters working here at Poly Pavilion for Corey Close. 4-point lead in possession for Donovan Dent, the senior from Riverside. playing alongside Trent Perry in the UCLA backcourt, as well as Jamar Brown.
UCLA's defense, I mentioned it earlier, the last 4 or 5 minutes here is really tightened up. Not as easy, not as many clean looks for Cal Poly from behind the line.
Scrum on the baseline, and it'll go over to the Mustangs. Timeout us with 7:53 to go in the first. Cal Poly hanging tough at Poly. Esther Sienna making her UCLA debut. The #2 overall recruit in her class. 5 points, 10 minutes. Her first career assist was to Lauren. UCLA won by 87, Don, the 4th largest margin of victory in program history.
Wait, how is that only the 4th largest? 87? Wow.
Corey Close and company playing defense, a lot like Mick Cronin and his Bruins have been the last 5.5 minutes.
Well, even if you won 87-0, 87's a lot of points for a college game. But again, I mentioned it earlier before we went to break. You knew it was only a matter of time where Mick Cronin was going to get this UCLA team defensively where they needed to be to handle this Cal Poly team. But give Cal Poly credit. They came in with the approach they always have, and they got off to a good start making threes. And there you go.
See if they can get Ahmad Musa started. The top scorer in the Big West, the sophomore from Qatar.
Still a 1-point game, and we're at the under 8 timeout.
Dent missing. 1 and done for the Bruins. Caden Ward brings it the other way.
UCLA is doing a better job of getting back and getting matched up and walling off on the defensive end. They were getting early clock transition threes, Cal Poly, to start the game.
Elliott from the corner gets the road roll.
You know it's coming. And I'm sure bit of a quick turnaround. They played Arizona State Wednesday. It's Friday, so not a lot of time to prepare. But this is what they do, and they're doing it so far, Cal Poly.
Bilodeau, the elbow fall away, goes begging, pulled down by Ward on the defensive glass. Rondo exploring off the dribble, able to keep it. They flip it over to Luka Tarlach, a former Utah running Ute. A foul 3-point shooter, down 2 with 6:36 to go in the half.
And that's the second time Trent Perry's fouled a 3-point shooter. You got to be able to close out without fouling. That's the worst thing you can do, especially this shot. This wasn't a great look for Musa. Like, that's hard off the bounce, going left.
It reminds me of the post game against Gonzaga, where I think Mick was bemoaning the lack of defensive IQ. Like, the talent, the measurables are there, but they just don't have a sense of the moment, especially in some late clock situations in that loss.
Well, and I've always said this, I'm sure you're sick of hearing it, JB. We've done so many games together, but like, you're not going to block it. Like, why would you get close enough to where you could foul him if you know the only way you're going to block it, you're going to foul him? So just close out on balance, under control, and then get him to miss. But the idea that you're going to get all the way out there and get a piece of that shot, you're going to foul him. And Trent Perry's done it twice tonight.
Inside the line's an interesting story. He scored a total of 26 points in 20 games at Dayton last season. He's averaging 20 for Cal Poly.
Leading the Big West in scoring so far.
A 9-0 rip for the visitors here at Poly Pavilion. And a foul with 6:31.
Well, sometimes, especially in this era of college basketball, you know, in the transfer portal, you find a place that fits how you play. And obviously Musa wasn't a great fit at Dayton, but a really good fit here at Cal Poly.
A missed front end from Dents. 3 fouls on Vasilic for Cal Poly could be something to monitor here.
Dents percentages are just not what we expected, especially at the foul line. And, you know, I haven't talked to him about it because you don't talk to players about shooting, especially if they're struggling. But a sure sign that a player is putting pressure on themselves to perform is when you're a good foul shooter and all of a sudden you're not making free throws. It's one thing from 2 and 3 where there's defense involved and you're, you know, on the move and what type of shots are you getting, but free throws are free throws.
Haven't talked a lot about Eric Daly Jr. yet tonight, have we? Might be time.
Struggled in the Arizona State game as well. But he's a valuable piece of what UCLA does offensively. Does a little bit of everything, Daly. Can put it on the ground, likes the mid-range game, likes the mid-post area, backing guys down. Emerging three-point shooter, 39% this year.
Tough angle there. Clark's feed intercepted. Good leads the counter. And here's Ward with Bilodeau defending. Cut off on the block. Keeps that pivot foot. Well defended by the Bruins. Brown on the breakthrough. Daly trailing. Dent missed it all.
But again, what I said earlier, JB, I liked that he shot it.
Transition bucket for Elliott. Timeout, Mick Cronin.
Well, it looked like UCLA had stabilized the game in terms of what Cal Poly was trying to do. And all of a sudden, it's opened back up. And teams like
Shy about going to the line is problematic.
It's really problematic because he's one of the best players I've seen in a while that's so good at drawing fouls because of his change of speed, his burst getting by that initial defender that I've been talking about all night. So you're going to get fouled. But now are you reluctant to really attack defenders because you're not confident at the free throw line?
Well, that may be the antidote, right? Get it to Bilodeau, who loves the foul line. See if you can leverage some of your size on the interior. Cal Poly turns it over again.
Yeah. Again, I said it earlier, and I think it will eventually play out where they're going to commit to really trying to hammer it into Bilodeau and make Cal Poly react. And maybe that's the way. I think it's hard to double from behind when you post up in the middle of the paint in front of the rim. When you're on one side of the key or the other, you can bring that defender from the bottom across the lane.
He's got a 6'4" sophomore defending him now, man-to-man, as Clark earns a trip to the line.
I think we're going to see a lot of that from here on out this season from Sky Clark. Just the attacking of the closeout because people are freaking out. He's shooting 50+ from three. This is going to be available a lot for Sky Clark.
He puts the third personal on Austin Good, the freshman from Ontario, Canada. So 3 on Vasilic and Good, 2 members of the Cal Poly rotation with 5 minutes to go in the opening half.
Sky Clark not far behind Bilodeau at 86% from the free throw line.
Luka Tarlat spins out of his drive. A pass to the corner, tees up a triple. Right in front of the UCLA bench, Peter Bondel strikes again.
This is impressive to watch. Just the ball movement of Cal Poly. Their willingness to put it on the deck to try and get in the teeth and then spray it out, not looking for any pull-ups, looking for paint touches and then kickouts.
Daly turned it over, now digging in against Musa defensively. Only the midway point of the shot clock here as the Big West leading scorer goes to work on Bilodeau.
Well, they're going small, Cal Poly. So Bilodeau's only matchup is Musa, and you see him, he dragged him out, wanted the ISO game, got all the way to the backboard.
Dent off the crossover. There's a determined take from Donovan Dent.
I like the aggressiveness, and we keep saying, like, maybe that's the one that gets him going, maybe that's the one, and it just hasn't materialized yet. I think it will at some point. You never know. Could be one shot, could be one half, one game. But we wouldn't be talking about it, JB, if we didn't know it was there, right?
Sure.
Like, you know he's a better shooter at the line, free throw line.
Tarlox turns it over. That gets Daly on the run. Let's take it one step further. If we didn't know he was capable, if we didn't know that it might be the ceiling for UCLA, how high can he take them?
No doubt, and especially once we get into Big Ten play. Donovan Dent certainly has the talent. UCLA's got a game on the UCLA turn it over 7.5 times. Just unusual looking box score for a UCLA team that usually dominates in here defensively in the non-con.
UCLA has won 6 of the 7 between these programs. It's been over a decade, though, since they last played. As we resume with Daly at the line. Those were the Thomas Welsh, Tony Parker days. And that one was more close than the Bruins would have liked it for comfort, right? 88-83 back in November of 2015.
I don't remember last week, so I'm pretty sure I did that game in 2015, but I do not remember it.
UCLA fans would like to forget the 2012 version.
Yes.
They were stunned 70-68 here at Poly Pavilion.
Up 18 and lost that game, UCLA.
Troy Plumtree, a freshman from New Zealand, in the game and turning it over for Cal Poly there. It's their 11th turnover. They need to shoot it before they give it away.
How about that? They have 11 turnovers with 3:10 to go in the half, and they're up. That tells you the great equalizer, the three-point ball.
Bilodeau battling for position. Bruins can't find him yet. Brown sends it over to Clark, 12 to shoot. Attacks off the bounce. Long take, Sky Clark.
He is just right decisions, playing with force because he's confident. Man, is he playing well.
Clark's got 15 of the 36 for UCLA. Ward slips past him on this end and gives it right back to UCLA.
Just smart basketball. Sky Clark's been around forever here in college basketball, and just he knows now because of what he's put on film from behind the three-point line. The guys are coming after him, so now he's putting it on the deck, getting to the rim.
He scored 18 and a good night and a win against ASU. He's got 15 already in this half. Can tie that number, but misses on the hoist. Daly a second chance opportunity and back to the line. And the foul story will become something to watch here for Cal Poly in the second half.
That one a little quick from Sky Clark, and when you got it going, there's no shot that you don't think you can make. But you're certainly not going to tell Sky Clark to not shoot at any point at this juncture with how well he's shooting it.
Daly at 69% for his season. The lefty hits the first. Coming up on the halftime show presented by State Farm. Pizzo breaks down the first half and looks ahead to our busy weekend around the Big Ten.
I think there's some football being played this weekend, too.
May or may not be underway already. I'm trying to stay focused here in the moment. Be where my feet are planted with you, Dom. Brown gets a deflection. 22 left on the timer. True to form, he has been a nice glue piece.
He really has.
For Mick Cronin in his first season.
Understands his role. Tough kid, rebounds it. Another guy shooting 41% from three.
My bad. No sooner did I tout him than he hard closes on an airborne three-point shooter, and Musa has a chance for 4.
Yeah, it's just, you know, they want to shoot a lot of threes, and you want to play with effort defensively, so you scramble back out there to try and affect the shot, and that's a foul.
The thing about Musa is how hyper efficient he is. He's one of only 10 players nationally averaging at least 20 points per game while playing fewer than 30 minutes per game.
44 from three, 83 at the line on pretty good volume.
Down 2 with less than 2 to play. Dent turns the corner. Clark turns it down. Extra pass. There it is. The best sequence of the night for the Bruins.
No doubt. The extra pass from Dent. If he had shot that, nobody would have said anything, but makes an easier one for Bilodeau.
Driving hard, an and one opportunity. Kieran Elliott, former Texas Player of the Year.
We mentioned earlier about the fouls against Arizona State, and it's only 17 fouls, but they're just bad fouls because a couple on three-point shots. That one, Sky Clark, just a little too physical. If you're going to foul him, you might as well grab his arm and not let him get it up there on the glass.
Clark lines up a 3. This one hits back iron. After a quick start, he's lost the distance. Ward dared to launch, comes up short. Loose ball rebound goes back to Cal Poly.
It'll be interesting to see what changes are made coming out at halftime for UCLA, but you got to give Mike DeGeorge and his staff a ton of credit for coming in here, playing how they play, got off to a good start. Here they are with a minute to go in the half. Got a 3-point lead.
Musa with a dozen, able to get it to Ward. Osron. And to join the action as Bilodeau pulls it down. 1 minute to go. UCLA on the move down 3. Dent crossing over in transition. Takes the contact and converts.
He is just so good at that. There was a little hesitation right at the foul line, and then he changed direction. If we can take a look at it, where the defender just stands up right here, boom, right by him, gets to the contact and finishes. A lot of players want and get that contact just to get to the foul line. The really good players get to the contact and finish the play.
And he caps it at the line. To your previous point, how important is that to seek out the chest of the defender, to cash it in at the line?
The more it goes in, the more you give yourself a chance to get out of whatever rut he's been in shooting the ball this year.
Musa missing from the 405. Dent overcooked it on the dish to Daly.
Those passes, when you're that close, have to have some touch on them. Just a little too hard. I thought Dent was going to keep it himself and try and score again. Probably should have.
Wanda with the basketball, calling for that high screen. It's been interesting when we talked about their tempo to see it in person. A lot of times up-tempo teams generate it from their defensive end. This is all offensive style. Ward rinses it with the right hand. They're back on the high side.
What I said right off the bat, the more you let a team hang around, the more confident they get. Cal Poly now fully thinks that they can win this game.
This feels like a 40-minute affair.
Oh,
if not
no doubt.
Tonight. Dent in the closing seconds. Behind the back. In the lane. No whistle. Still time if he can get it up. And they go to the halftime locker room down 2.
We knew what we were going to see tonight. We thought UCLA would be able to counter it with their defense and change it. But Cal Poly, really impressive. Got off to a good start, had a lull, came back again. They have a 2-point lead here at halftime.
Friday Night Hoops in LA. 6 ties, 5 lead changes between the Mustangs and the Bruins. They break before conference play resumes. And when I say resumes, I mean a road trip to Iowa and Wisconsin, home for one, then back out on the road again. There's going to be one home game here in a span of 27 days.
Yeah, and it's a good thing UCLA already has 2 wins under their belt in conference play from the early December games.
Hamad Musa with the basketball, asking for a high screen from Osron. 10 to shoot. Digging in defensively, Eric Daly Jr. makes an early stand.
I just wondered if anything would change in terms of the defensive approach or game plan. I don't think so. I think that it's more about toughness, up and into it, physicality without fouling, and just getting into these shooters from Cal Poly. See if it plays out.
A deep touch for Bilodeau. An early bucket for the Bruins.
And more of that would help too. Establish him. And then again, I mentioned it in the first half, if they come with doubles and triples, he's got to have the presence to kick it out to open guys.
Austin good off the mark and a rebounding foul. It looked like Bilodeau with a shove in the back.
Well, good action on that last possession. Screen roll game. Improve the angle by getting it to the other side. Bilodeau, easy deuce.
He's got 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 fouls, and another whistle off the inbound. Jeffrey Anderson, Jason Phillips, Nate Harris, our crew tonight in Los Angeles.
So we see this a lot, where a team wasn't very good defensively, especially a team with the reputation that UCLA has on the defensive end. So you come out and you want to be more physical, you want to be more engaged, but you have to do it without being too physical and fouling and put the other team on the line.
Osron hits the first. He's at 54% for the season under second-year head coach Mike DeGeorge, who came from D2 Colorado Mesa. They led Division II and what's known as effective field goal percentage his final season there, and they tried to graft that onto their Cal Poly program.
That's working tonight, I'll tell you that.
Dent's 1 minute in. The crossover, the feed, and Brown the beneficiary.
Again, his ability to get by the guy that's guarding him, it just breaks down the opposition.
Ward stumbling, well defended by Clark there. And a late whistle behind the plays. Bilodeau got tangled up. It'll go against Cal Poly.
Just his burst and his ability to get by read screen roll game, get by it, and a good cut by Brown. Got 4 fouls here in the first minute, second half.
Bilodeau screen. Dent off the bounce. Here's Clark. Bilodeau gathers, immediately double.
Yep,
extra pass, Clark from the slot, buries the three.
What I'm saying, they're going to come with the double. The coaches told us from Cal Poly they double the post, so Bilodeau understands it, gets it out, one more to Clark. He knocks it in.
His 4th make from distance tonight. He's got 18 points in back-to-back games. Ward gets a clean look, an empty trip for the visitors. They hit ahead Daly. Cruising in transition and able to cash it in.
Good run out by Daly, good throw ahead by Clark. Easy finish for Daly. Just like that, UCLA up 5.
That matches their largest lead from the first half. We're going to get a 30-second timeout, it sounds like. Timeout, Cal Poly. Sky Clark continues to pour it in from behind the arc, and he's got UCLA back on the high side by a handful.
Continues for UCLA.
Peter Bondel with the basketball on the high screen. Ward hits the brakes. Pivots in the paint. Cal Poly misses a couple of twos. Now a scramble for it. Bilodeau comes out of the pie. Dent waiting for reinforcements. Bilodeau trying to work it at both ends. Strapping his Clark. Gets to the second side and scores.
Bilodeau made that shot harder than it needed to be. Missed it, but Clark right there to clean it up.
So his third 20-point game of the season, and Cal Poly gives it right back.
Bilodeau should have went. He should have just shot it regular overhand. He tried to underhand scoop it, made it harder. Left it short, but Clark there to get the offensive rebound.
And combined, those two have 31 of the 54 for UCLA. Dent looking for more. He whistles a pass to the corner. Clark with behind the back. Back in the hands of Dent. Still plenty of time on the clock. They get it deep in the lane, and Bilodeau earns 2 foul shots.
Interesting. I think they're going to continue to get Bilodeau to the front of the rim instead of getting him on one side or the other. I mentioned that in the first half. Easier to double when you're outside on one side or the other. In the middle, you can converge, but then you can see the whole floor if you're in the middle of the paint. Bilodeau, so good going to that left shoulder down there. Got fouled that time.
Was 8 for 8 from the line against Arizona State, guiding that victory as he continues to rank among the Big Ten's best foul shooters.
I know it's early in the second half, but doesn't it feel like this game is going to go one way or the other right now? UCLA's pushed it out to 9. They're either going to continue to push it, or Cal Poly's going to make a few threes and get it stabilized here early in the second half.
Right now they're in an 11-0 drought. Can Bondel bring them back? Or is this the moment UCLA tips it in the Bruins' favor? Bondel's got nowhere to go. Bilodeau's there as the second defender. Tarlash. It's a low percentage 3. UCLA gets another stop. Clark behind the back. Crossing over. Everything but the highlight for Sky Clark.
Got too deep, didn't find his target.
The hustle. Deflection. Daly crushes it with the left hand.
Mike DeGeorge has already used one timeout here early in the second half. Does he use another?
Bondel throws down to the block. A rare short clock situation for Cal Poly. What kind of look can they get? Musa denied again. Brown goes to get the board.
Musa puts a lot of air under that ball, doesn't he? That thing goes way up in the air. But again, almost 44% from three, so no one's going to tell him to change it.
Dent playing off 2 feet, spots Daly. Not this time. Tip rebound, Musa vacuums it up. Bilodeau on the hedge. Rotate to the corner. Bondel, step back three. Still nothing doing in this second half for the visitors. Brown's on the run.
Why do you hesitate?
Squeezed it up and in.
Cal Poly was going to let him go, and he got to a 2-foot jump stop with the ball fake, but still able to get it in. Could have made it easier on himself by just going straight up with it.
15 in a row for the UCLA Bruins. Making life miserable in this second half for Bondel with the basketball. Ward snaps the spell.
Not an easy shot. Again, off the dribble, contested. It's just what Cal Poly needed.
Cronin orchestrating with Sky Clark, getting all the way home with the right hand.
Getting by the defender, just like we've been talking about with Donovan Dent, finishing himself.
And look, the downside, the underbelly of this Cal Poly roster, for all they can shoot it, there's not a lot of resistance at the rim if you can get by that first defender.
No doubt. UCLA comes out with the right disposition in this second half. Defense leading to offense. Clark with the good hustle. UCLA up 12. Cal Poly played in the first half. 1 of 9 from the floor.
Still trying to bounce back from what I perceive to be a diss. I don't think you meant that as a compliment.
Yeah, I did.
Like I got the swag to wear a bucket.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
All right. Bondel missing the seconds.
Well, you figured it was only a matter of time. We've watched Mick Cronin and his teams over the years, and if they have had a bad half defensively, it usually doesn't carry throughout the whole game, and I think we're seeing that again here tonight. Much better defensively, attention to detail to the defensive game plan.
Brandon Williams spelling Bilodeau. He surveys. Dent with 5 to shoot. A bucket waiting to happen. Donovan Dent.
It is going to be very interesting to me once we get into back into Big Ten play, how teams guard Donovan Dent. Just because of his ability. You can't say it enough what it does to your defense when a guard is consistently in the paint. And Dent is that. And so what do teams do? Do they have better personnel that will be able to keep him out of the paint, or do they game plan for that? Be interesting to watch unfold.
Missed the three-point try, but they'll get it back on the baseline. Now UCLA generating 16 paint points since the half. Back to the three-point line, back to Clark. And it goes over to Cal Poly.
I would run a baseline out of bounds to get Sky Clark a three as well.
Every time.
Every time. The way he's shooting it this year.
Vasilic had his first half disrupted by 3 personal fouls. This is Luka Tarlac. Used to go to work in Salt Lake City. Now in Cal Poly with the Mustangs.
Good back cut that time by Ward. I think that's what they're going to have to do. UCLA now is guarding the three-point line much better, so you're going to have to manufacture some points, maybe inside the three-point line.
Dent comes free late. What a subtle screen by Brandon Williams there to spring it.
I was just going to say that. Sometimes that gets called as a moving screen. With Dent getting to the paint way too often in the second half.
Clark just got hammered on the screen, Don. Mark that one down. I know you look for those things.
It's the first time I've seen it this year.
But now with the lead, UCLA can play more to its pace, right? The deliberate style that they wanted this game to be.
You would think.
Clark whirling to the baseline side. Left it on the iron, pulled down by Caden Ward.
If UCLA can't exhale now, you've done a great job here to start the second half, got an 11-point lead, but when you're playing a team that can get hot from behind the three-point line like Cal Poly can, unless this lead gets to like 25, you got to keep playing on the defensive end.
A little bit of that the other night for different reasons against Arizona State. Never truly able to put the Sun Devils away. Bilodeau back after some good minutes from Brandon Williams. Nick Brennan was asked about Brandon the other night. He said, Williams does what I tell him to do, and he does it with toughness. On this team, we have enough players with talent. We need Spartacus. See if that name sticks with Brandon off the bench.
Well, that is, we've gotten to know over the years Mick Cronin and what he values, and obviously more than one or two things, but the two things that stick out to me are toughness and turnovers, meaning no turnovers or low turnovers.
Very too strong. One-handed board there by Tarlash. Cal Poly gets a stop. Can they dial it in from distance and find a path back?
The goal would be to get this under 10 at the 10-minute mark.
Boy, Elliott finds a rare two inside.
Well, there you go. It's 9.
Dent gets 2 feet in the lane and is fouled. We'll stop it with 11:40 to go. UCLA has opened up the lead. Dent at the stripe when we continue.
Points.
At Rutgers tomorrow. Dent at the line as we resume here on a Friday night in Los Angeles. Dent now at 14 points, 5 assists for his evening.
See him knocking in free throws. Right on cue, he missed that one.
Did build it back to double digits. Caden Ward downhill on Brown and got past Bilodeau as well.
It is interesting, right? They are getting more in the paint now, not as reliant on the three-point shot. UCLA's kind of taken that away here in the second half.
UCLA spins home a 3 with Jamar Brown. Vasilic. Ooh, that looked vertical from Jamar Brown.
There's only been, I believe, JB, 1 or 2 this year, but let's take another look, and that is a let's move on.
So free throws for the sophomore Guzman Vasilic by way of the NBA Academy in Latin America.
He's vertical. Offensive player jumped into him. Same thing, you mentioned it earlier, JB, just not able to deliver the knockout punch, UCLA. Feels like they're going to. Cal Poly makes a couple plays. We're back under 10 again.
Burns will keep it nearing the 11-minute mark. Bilodeau and Daly in the front court. Perry, Dent, and Brown the guards. Perry baseline, able to spot Daly. Two defenders there. Good pass. Bilodeau cashes off the window.
Good poise by Daly. I thought he was going to try and force that up. Waited for the second defender to come and found Bilodeau.
Who are these Mustangs? I hardly recognize them,
right?
Dom. It's a layup show.
Good coaching, though. Look, if they're going to get out to our three-point shooters and contest, and we're not making them, we got to find a different way to score, and they have.
Dent, two-man game. Bilodeau trying to rock the rim and is fouled.
What makes Bilodeau difficult in screen roll game is he can do both. He can pick and pop out to the three-point line, or he can roll. He's mostly been rolling. See play before, knocks that one in. There's a lot of guys that can roll, and there's a lot of guys that can pick in space. Not a lot of guys that can do both at a high clip.
Team high, season best 24 in last weekend's loss to Gonzaga. Backed it up with 18 points in 30 minutes here in Westwood on the midweek game against Arizona State.
You have to, we talked about it in our open, JB, you have to give him credit that he has improved every year he's been in college. Freshman to sophomore made a jump, sophomore to junior, then last year to this year he's made another jump. Some guys just become who they are and stay the same. Some guys get better. He's gotten better every year.
Dent one-on-one, looking for the pick six. No whistle. Nick Cronin's losing it.
I think he assumed he was getting the foul.
Instead of technical.
Well, Nick Cronin made some comments after the game Wednesday night about the whistle. I think he's been frustrated by that. Obviously boiled over. He doesn't get many technicals, Nick Cronin.
Let's have a look.
Well, I would say there hasn't been a ton of fouls called in this game, but there hasn't been very little fouls called either. So if it's a game with a good amount of fouls being called, that's a foul.
I don't know if this was part of Nick's monologue over there, but if the foul on Brown in transition at the other end just a moment ago was called, then that is
exactly right. Exactly right.
Midway point of the second half. See if the Bruins can withstand it or if that's the spark that Cal Poly needs.
As a player, all you want is it to be consistent, so you know how to play.
Wow, Bondle bottoms with a kiss to the crowd here at Poly.
There we go, back down to 6. If you're UCLA, you cannot let Cal Poly get started again from behind the three-point line.
And they're switching everything. Dent looked like he had a mismatch. Gets it back with 15. Driving kick to the corner. Brown with some get back.
Quick trigger, too. No set, just catch and go. It's his second one of this half.
Daly does well to stay in front of Musa. Now screening for Peter Bondle. Dent took an elbow. The official caught it. I think Bondle's case was he's in my cylinder.
I agree with what you said. How are you supposed to create space if he is in your cylinder? And we never see the one when they invented the cylinder call. We saw it all the time. Now we never see it.
Bilodeau screening for Dent. Off the Hezzy, back to the line.
What year was that that cylinder call came into the rules? Because I remember Bobby Diebler, the old commissioner of officials for the Pac-12, and when he explained it to us before the season, you envisioned it being a lot of those types of calls, like all the time. And it was that first year. It's just kind of slowly gone away.
McCronen's ready to get Sky Clark back in this game. With 8:58 to go, Dent's second foul shot. He pours in both, and we'll get a break as Clark re-enters. 16 points, 6 assists for Donovan Dent. And he'll be back for closing time. Austin Good at the wing for Cal Poly. Daly moving his feet defensively. From the corner, Osron missing. It's a good trip for Eric Daly Jr., who wraps up the board.
If UCLA continues to kind of use some clock and slow this game down, you're not protecting the lead yet. Too much time to go, but certainly want to get the best shot.
Clark able to turn the corner.
UCLA in the double bonus now for the last 8:24 of this one. Well, we started the night in our show talking about UCLA's three-point shooting and Sky Clark being above 50%, but Sky Clark's done a lot of his damage tonight at the rim.
For those joining us a bit later on in the game, in the show, Xavier Booker's been a non-factor. I think that's safe to say. How much of it do you think is the ankle issue, and how much of it do you think is the style that this game has taken?
I think we don't know how big of a problem the ankle is, but we do know that the way Cal Poly plays, you got to be able to guard the perimeter. And he's a big, not used to being out there trying to keep 6'4" guys in front of him, so I think that's part of it as well. So to answer your question, it's probably a little of both.
Bondo looking for a way past Clark. He lost his footing. And UCLA will take its 17th foul with 8:11 to go. No, 16.
Yeah, I think it's.
I got my eyes to the board late. They'd already put it up. That's 6. So there's Xavier Booker, the junior from Indianapolis. Only 14 minutes. Did not score a field goal at 2 points here against ASU. And it'll be another limited rep here for him tonight.
Well, he's going to be a big factor for UCLA as we get back into Big Ten play in January, because there's a lot of big teams in the Big Ten. So he's going to be, even though it's not a good matchup for him tonight, he's going to have plenty of matchups where he is going to be needed in Big Ten play.
Don, the two-pointers have been endearing, but I don't think Cal Poly can get back into this one unless they start to light it up again from the arc.
If they're going to win the game, yes, they're going to have to make some threes here the last 8 minutes. I think they can hang around if they only are making twos, but we're talking about them coming all the way back and winning. I don't think so.
Bilodeau just suffocated that drive. He gets it back here with 10 to shoot. On the face-up over Elliott's. Fight for that rebound by Perry, and he gives a foul in the backcourt. So now UCLA is over the limit, and those are the types of miscues you can't afford, protecting this lead with 7.5 to go. Quad 3, quad 4 threshold, and that's not going to get it done, but I think everyone has confidence in this roster and then the opportunity in the new year.
Especially if some things continue, the way like Bilodeau's play, Sky Clark's play, and Donovan Dent continuing to emerge or evolve, or however you want to put it, with his shooting percentages.
Well, Perry, after giving that foul, was replaced. So it's Clark and Dent with Brown in the backcourt.
So that over-the-top pass to Bilodeau not there. Cal Poly doing a nice job on the weak side, protecting against that lob over the top to Bilodeau.
They get it to him with 8. Face up. And foul shots with 7:06 to go. UCLA can ride this bonus all the way to the finish line. This was a shooting foul, but Cal Poly's in foul trouble. And Bilodeau, just the man for the job.
Well, again, if you're Cal Poly, in your ability to make threes, even though you haven't made many in this second half, down 11, like, you ain't out of it. by any means. So they're going to continue to fight on that end. But we talked about UCLA guarding without fouling in the second half. Cal Poly has fouled way too much in the second half.
One other thought on that net ranking I jotted down this morning. 6 of the top 20 are Big Ten teams. And then you get to the Indiana, USC, UCLA tier, 9 in the top 40.
Yeah. Especially if you can win some road games in the Big Ten.
Absolutely. UCLA is going to start the new calendar.
Yeah, they're going to
on the road. 4 or 5, we said, right?
Mm-hmm.
A deflection, and now the steal. Dent with numbers, puts it up. Brown able to finish.
Good body control by Brown. I didn't think he was going to be able to convert that. Somehow was able to.
Cal Poly dispossessed. Who touched it last? They actually get a foul. Dent.
UCLA had numbers, and you was curious to see what Dent was going to do with this. 4-on-2 basically, threw it up. 4-on-3, threw it up to Brown. You always like it when players get those lobs, and instead of trying to make the highlight play and try and dunk that, get under control, catch it, and finish it instead of a missed dunk. So many times you see guys try and dunk those and don't convert.
Jamar Brown giving these Bruins just under 20 minutes per contest. Really nice roll piece. Time to shorten the game.
Up 13, 6:20 to go. I don't think it's time to shorten it, but you're certainly not in a rush.
And anytime you can get Bilodeau to the bonus, that's a path to victory. Tyler can get to and above 20 points with this trip to the line. Last time UCLA put together back-to-back 90-plus point performances was in November of 2021. Well on their way here, clearly. The back-to-back with Arizona State midweek and heading into the holiday weekend, Cal Poly.
Especially if Cal Poly continues to put them on the line. Well, now it's 15 with basically 6 minutes to go. So maybe to your point earlier, JB, it might be time there were some threes are necessary.
Tarlack's the one that they're probably willing to leave there and make him earn it. He comes up empty. Dent flings it out to Clark. Bilodeau for 3.
Is that his first 3 tonight? Second 3. How efficient has he been, JB? I mean, I know we started the show talking about the 50, 40, 90, but same deal again tonight.
Clark, yes sir. Bilodeau and Clark back to back, and for Sky, it's a season high.
Check on Bilodeau. Got up hobbling a little bit.
Musa no. Brown has hands on the board. Bilodeau secures. Dent with the foot on the accelerator. It's Daly's turn. Couldn't deliver the knockout shot.
21. Now I think you can think about shortening the game.
Bilodeau wanted the charge. Gets hit with the block instead. .27 and counting for Clark here.
Again, playing with so much confidence, Sky Clark.
Nice ovation for Brown and Bilodeau. And now it's officially north of 90. Caden Ward earns his second. He's a sophomore from Stockton, 64% free throw shooter. Mick Cronin collected a technical foul along the way tonight.
It'll be interesting to see when Cal Poly gets into Big West play. Teams having to prepare maybe on short notice, kind of like UCLA tonight, and they weren't picked to finish real high in the Big West. But I guarantee you they're going to get hot and beat some people.
They're 7th in that preseason poll. Irvine, Santa Barbara, Hawaii, the favorites. Bruins filling it up. Trent Perry gives them a lift. Bondel, back pass to the corner. Osron, he's been off.
I think Daly got a piece of that.
$27 points for Sky Clark. Step back three. Ripcord.
You want any example of how much confidence that guy's playing with right now? Just watch that shot.
Vasilic, splash. Cal Poly, one of the 3 most up-tempo teams in college basketball. UCLA ranked outside the 300 in that regard. And in the second half, the game has been played more to their style. Moose on the move.
Well, that's usually what we see is UCLA will get a lead and then just grind teams down with their defense and their execution in the half court. Took a little while tonight, but finally broke through and built this lead.
Maybe for one more stoppage, next whistle, as Dent draws the defense out. He's got Ward in front of him. No one's been able to stop Dent tonight. Distributes to Perry with a free throw to follow.
Sky Clark has been shooting it well all year, but he has put on a show here tonight with some of these threes. Tough step back. UCLA rolling. Are now closing hard on him, so it opened up the drive game for a lot of this game. But he continues to shoot it so well from behind the three, and these aren't easy attempts. He's making them look easy, but those step back off the bounce shots, those aren't easy. And he's, because of the confidence, 6 for 12 from behind the line tonight. And just, you know, we showed that graphic earlier, and it was 2 games for Clark. Now 3 games. And again, we talked about it earlier, JB. It's going to be fascinating to see what Big Ten teams do with them once we restart conference play.
Did you ever have a coach go to the post-game podium and say, we got to get Don more shots?
No. It was more like we need to make Don get others involved.
Good thing it was a quick turnaround for Clark. I'm sure he heard that and said, when do we play again? Friday night? Great.
But to my defense, I always thought, if I have a better chance of making it than you do, why would I pass it?
Didn't say you lacked for justification.
No.
Just hesitation.
Well, I was just thinking about this. And we've talked all night about Cal Poly and how unique the way they play is. Truly committed to playing fast and threes and at the rim and all that. And what's good to see for UCLA, when you get to the NCAA tournament, you never know what you're going to run into. Different styles, different way of playing. Some teams, you know, and this is a unique style. And you were able to, you didn't get off to a great start, but you were eventually able to adjust to it. And you win the game going away. So valuable experience, I think, for this UCLA team to see a different way of playing and adjust to it.
One other thought on Sky Clark. A lot of times coaches say, well, we track the data in practice and his numbers are better than it shows so far, so he's going to progress to the mean over time. Mick Cronin talking about Clark says They track his shooting numbers in practice. They're as good as anyone they've ever had in their program, here or elsewhere. That's why they're so confident that they want more volume from him.
And I don't agree with the regress to the mean, and I said it in the first half. Once you get confident, that confident as Sky Clark's playing, what's going to change that? What, you missed 3 in a row? He missed 3 in a row, I think, in the first half. It doesn't change once you get that confident. And Dent with another assist tonight, Perry in the corner. But the only way that it regresses to the mean is if they get into Big Ten play and teams are allowed to be more physical with him, or they change their game plan and just say, you know what, we're taking Clark out, we'll play 4-on-4 on the other side. He's not touching it. And just commit to keeping the ball out of Sky Clark's hands, which could happen.
Eric Freeney is in the game for UCLA. Jason Scott appearing for Cal Poly. Perry just got that 3 from the corner and a deflection on this end. Over the top, the man I just mentioned, Jason Scott. He's a freshman from Houston.
Well, we said it earlier. Give Cal Poly a lot of credit. Mike DeGeorge came in, weren't afraid, excited to be here, excited to play in Poly Pavilion, and gave UCLA a test for a good chunk of this game.
Could be Dent's last drive of the night. Daly with 6. Able to spot his point guard. Around with the left hand. Tip rebound. And it belongs to the Bruins with basically a new shot clock and 93 seconds to go. Christian Horry's into the game. Here's the ovation for Dent.
And yes, that is the Horry. That is Robert Horry's son. For those of you wondering.
See if they can get his first Bruin bucket here before we're done tonight.
He's gotten into 2 games so far this year.
Perry, step back. Corner triple off iron and ripped down by Osram. Troy Plumtree able to gather but cannot score it. All Bruins there for the board. Just over a minute to go, and UCLA on its way to 9-3. Horry finds a slicing Williams to cap the night for UCLA.
Good pass by Horry.
Cal Poly getting back to league play. They go home. They play Sunday. That's against Idaho. Final 40 seconds here. Okay then, Jason Scott with a couple of memories at Poly Pavilion. Just a clock adjustment here, and we'll be ready to go with 34 remaining. Don, how about this? UCLA, no turnovers, 15 assists since halftime.
Not surprised by that because there was too many, and I guarantee it was addressed at halftime by Mick Cronin, the fact that they had 8 turnovers in the first half.
Highest scoring half in 25 years. The Bruins continue to pour it on offensively. Perry, is this the one?
Good look.
Over the baseline and over to Cal Poly with just under 12 to go.
I don't know how much UCLA will practice, having played Wednesday tonight and then play again on Tuesday. But I think that first half has gotten Mick Cronin's going to have their attention here the next couple days.
It was tight after 20 minutes, but a prolific second session here at Poly Pavilion. And the final score 108 to 87. Mick Cronin and the Bruins get their 9th win.
Really good second half on both ends for UCLA defensively.